Hey guys, it's me again. I wanted to talk about two somewhat different but very similar kinds of groups. Those on the autistic spectrum and nerds. Now before you click away, hear me out on this. Remember how not so long ago, stuff that nerds were was considered weird, and they would be pushed aside or made fun of or ignored. And let's be honest, nerds are very awkward, not very talkative, and that kind of stuff. People with autism, especially the higher functioning like Asperger's, are very similar. So you'd think that that nerds would be more accepted of this because they're very similar, right? Not so. Now you're probably wondering, why am I talking about this? Well, see, the thing is, I'm on the spectrum. I'm on the high functioning spectrum, but that's beside the point. I have Asperger's, and I've known this for about 6 years. When we found out when I was around 16 years old, still in high school. Yeah, you guys are probably wondering, why did it take so long for you to find out? Well, to be completely honest, we either just didn't have the time or the money, because really around the point where we finally decided to find out about what my problem was during around freshman or sophomore year of high school, when I was considered depressed, because I am how I am, and I was constantly bullied, and I didn't talk to a lot of people, and home was no better. So we finally went to someone who would help, and we found out that I'm on the autistic spectrum. And looking back, it made a lot of sense considering how I was as a child. But you probably won't. Now, I want to. Sorry, this is a very personal subject for me, so I apologize for all this, but I want to explain a little something about why Asperger's is the same thing but different. And what does high functioning mean? Well, the way I understood it is that I have autism, but I'm aware of it. I've had times where I say something and I just heard that, I apologize. Moments like that. Good example of how to understand this is, think Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. I'm kind of like that, except, well, I have slightly more emotions than he does, and I feel bad whenever I say something wrong. But what are the symptoms of Asperger's, you say? Let's see here. Limited or inappropriate social interactions, robotic or repetitive speech, as you could probably hear in this video right now. Challenges with nonverbal communication and gestures, I'll get to that in a moment. Tendencies to discuss self rather than others, that's not me, actually. I actually don't care to hear about myself. So inability to understand social emotional issues or non-literal phrases, that's true. Lack of eye contact or, well, reciprocal conversations, also true. It's happening right now. Obsession with specific, often unusual topics, that's true. One-sided conversations, very true. Awkward moments, awkward movements or mannerisms, again, true. All that is me in a nutshell, well, except for that one I mentioned, but that's beside the point again. So the whole point of the story is that I want to tell you a story to maybe help people better understand being on the spectrum. So bear with me. It's going to be a bit of a somewhat of a long story. Last year around this time, it was Gen Con 2016 in Indiana. A few months prior, I'm looking on Facebook at some of my con friends, and there was a one was a photo shoot with like two of my friends, and one thing caught my eye, and with how I am, I waited until I was like face to face with the person to like say it to them. It was a compliment, or so I thought. Again, I apologize for this, but like I said, I described all the things about me, so this is a very touchy story for me, because it bothers me a little bit. But anyway, so it's Gen Con. I meet this person. By the way, I didn't specify, but this was a girl, and this makes sense because I'm very awkward around girls and women, especially those that I find, attractive. Duh. So I tell her my compliment. I tell her that she has very nice hips, but then I go to say the little joke I thought to myself when I first saw the picture. I say, dang, white girl's got some hips," and I laugh about it. And while she did, chuckle a little and say thank you, little did I know that it apparently bothered her. It didn't help that I said this when her now fiance wasn't around, but keep in mind, with autism, we're not very good at quote unquote peopling, so we're not very good at talking around like big crowds. Hell, we're not even good about talking one-on-one. So in my mindset, I thought it would be easier just to like talk to her with no one else around, which I still do. I'm getting better, I swear, and I didn't want to like say it with him around, because I did something like that. I did something similar to that in high school, and I almost got punched by someone who was twice my size, and I'm 6 feet tall. Sorry. But anyway, so yeah, that happened at Gen Con. I had no idea that it apparently bothered her, and I still wouldn't know for a few months. Yeah, you heard that right. I heard nothing about this. I had to find out via a Facebook video that this apparently bothered her. Now you're probably wondering, why were you looking on her Facebook posts and stuff? Well, haven't you ever like forgotten about a person, then like they suddenly pop in your head, and you're thinking like, oh, I wonder what this person's up to. That's kind of what happened. So I see this video, and apparently what I had said to her bothered her, and I'm just like, well, why didn't she say anything to me when I first said it back a few months prior? Sorry. And unfortunately, at the time when I had found this out, she had blocked me on all the social media that we were like either friends or following on. So I had no way of contacting her to say that I was sorry. At least at the moment. Flash forward a couple more months, there's a convention that's nearby where I live that she was going to, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to apologize. I go to the convention, I meet up with them, and well, keep in mind I didn't have 100% of how I was gonna apologize, and so that turned into a few hours of me just being quiet and hanging around them. So yeah, but even still, she could have like said something. But no, right around the time that I was like going to and still thinking of what to say, she had one of her friends talk to me about it. Not in like in the words of what had happened, but the point. My point being is that she had one of her friends talk talk to me about it, and well, it didn't make the situation better. I wasn't. I made sure I wasn't mad when I was like apologizing to her, but still, I could look. I can understand that she didn't want to hurt my feelings by talking to me directly about it, but it hurt me more that she didn't say anything and had someone else talk to me about it. I understand we live in a bit of a quote-unquote sensitive world nowadays, but communication's still a thing, and if you want to talk to a person about something, talk to them directly. Even if they're on the spectrum, talk to them. Because, well, like I said, it could hurt them more if you don't say anything and do it through someone else. But, if you're wondering if things gotten better between us, no, it hasn't. I still have no way of, like, talking to them, and it's almost Gen Con weekend again, so that's gonna be fun. And sorry again, I apologize for this, but this was a very touchy story for me because it bothered me, and I'm just a little tip for you people out there: be patient. Please, just be patient with. If you don't know whether or not someone is like on that spectrum or not, just well, there's a difference between like people who are just awkward and people who are just doing it outright to be creepy. I am not on that, not on the latter. I'm on the former. I'm just very awkward, and I'm not good at talking to people, especially in groups. There are a few people I'm good at talking to, but that's only because I like them enough to I want to be their friends. But for all you parents out there that are kind of wondering, get them tested, please. And also, I want to like get one thing out there. That whole rumor that like vaccinations cause autism, that's not a thing. It was never a thing. Stuff like this is genetic. You're born this way, like being gay. I'm not gonna get into that subject again. But yeah, just look for the signs. I described them to you. Be patient, and try, at least try. When I say a word, I mean its definition. Try to be nice about it, please. That's all I really need to say. This is. I'll talk. We'll talk about more of this in the future, maybe. But for right now, I just want to get this story off my chest and want to get this out there. But yeah, for the third time, just be nice, be patient with people like me, and yeah. This is that guy Rants, Zachman 1123 signing off. Bye.